that I use this datum surface to build my steering wheel on, it's the same reason that I use a datum surface located on y equals 0 to project all the major elevation curves of a car exterior to, and then I build from that. So that's kind of my foundation. This particular plane is sitting on x equals 0, so that's in the YZ plane, and these are our they were circles, they're ellipses now. We've got 4 ellipses. They're just guide curves, so I've put them onto a layer here which is called helper curves, and I've made them purely as reference curves. And then the reason that I use this plane is, plenty of modelers work without this and would just use the curves and the draft surfaces and build from that, which is fine, but I want to use this central area here to project the details of my steering wheel yoke onto later. So that's a brief explanation of my workflow. If you find a better way of doing it, then by all means, use it, because there's plenty of different ways to make things in Alias. I've put a construction plane here running through the center of my steering wheel on the XZ plane. Now in this view, this is a back view, so we're looking straight at the steering wheel in true view at the moment because we've got the steering wheel set up in world space. Eventually we'll rotate this plane, this surface, and we'll have our steering wheel inclined as per the design of the interior. Take a circle, position it so that it's in contact with those two curves on the surface, like so. Then I'm going to go into the information window and rotate it in Z on its own axis by 90 degrees. Take move pivot, and using the Alt key snap it there. Okay, now we want to rotate this around here, and I want to avoid these two curves which are going to be features in my kind of stitching, material joints in my steering wheel. So I don't want my patches to interfere with those in any way. So I'm going to come to about here. So this is 45 degrees. So I'm going to pick 55 degrees. And let's go to Edit, Duplicate, Object. We want one copy. And so it's copy, not an instance. And we want to rotate here on X minus 55 degrees, and I'm going to actually move its pivot for the moment, so just snap the pivot there, curve snap, and then pick move and snap the curve to there. Let's just template this surface so we can see a bit more clearly, and we're going to take a degree 5 curve and snap it to the edge here. And by the way, what I've done here is I've just detached these two draft surfaces at this point, and I'll give you a tip on that. Let's go into F5. We're looking down now on the 4 edges of these draft surfaces, and when you trim them, they should be in line with the axis here. But just in case they're not, then you can use the draft tool it's very simple to use and quick, so I'm just going to pick nothing, turn off the shading, and it's just a question of you can snap them to the one that you've got in place, like so. So now we've got all 4 surfaces. That's the top 2 there and the 2 here. They're all absolutely on the y-axis. Okay, we're ready to align this curve. So we're going to use edge align. Okay, we're going to edge align that and come over here and upgrade it to a degree 6. Like so. Pick the curve, do a Control C, Control V, and move, and then we're going to just curve snap that curve to this point here, like so. Rotate to there, and then get the stretch tool, which is this one, and just check that it's actually anchored there and you've got positional contact. Okay, we're ready to build our first surface. We're going to take the bi-rail tool, set it up as I've shown here. You want this collinearity set up like so. So that's our first surface. Go into Edit, Duplicate, Mirror, and you want to mirror it on XY. Okay, and I don't think we need any shading on now. So we need to align and there we are, that's done. Now this is where the collinearity comes in. We've got the tool set up for collinearity, and we're going to, not that tool, it's this tool. We're going to pick the surface, not the curve. Well, there's no curve there, so that's not a problem. Here there is, so we're going to pick the surface, and somewhere along the line I've duplicated that surface, and then we're going to pick these two here. That's nice, and we'll try for curvature. Okay, we've got curvature there. I'm using HY on my keyboard to do that, and we've got curvature there. Okay, so that's fine. So there we are then. Control G will hide away all the locators, get rid of the control points. We'll turn off the layer that's got those two drafts on it, and we will hide the model. Looks very nice. And normally I would have to model the back half of the steering wheel as a separate model, because a separate surface set, because the steering wheel isn't usually symmetrical in cross section. It can be, but on some cars it's more ergonomically shaped. It has grips, or it might be kind of narrower at the back, you know, to fit the grip of your hand more. So let's now then we will mirror it across. We just come here and turn on symmetry, layer symmetry, and we see we have a really nice piece of work there. I don't know if we have continuity or not. Let's find out. I'm going to go to here, just turn on my anti-alias. We'll see what type of continuity we've got there. So I think, you know, that demonstrates that modelling to a plane like this is very, very precise. Of course, now if you want to mirror it across here, then you would create geometry here, and you'd mirror the whole thing across and set up the symmetry plane. So I think I'll just quickly show you that. So come down to the layer here and pick objects, and then you go up into layers, symmetry, create geometry, and now just test it, and you've got control points on both sides, which means you've got geometry and not a symmetrical instance anymore. And then if we come here now and so there's our model. I'm going to come into Surface Edit and just make sure that all the normals are pointing the right way. Toggle off the lights, there, we don't want them, and the points. Now if we turn on symmetry and then go up here to layers and symmetry and set symmetry plane there, we just have to toggle that symmetry plane like so. I come up here to layers, symmetry, and set symmetry plane, and it needs to be this way. And if that doesn't work, then you need to flip the symmetry plane Okay, come up here to layers, symmetry, set symmetry plane. You need to flip the plane there and then hit set plane, and there is your geometry with a symmetrical instance shown on the other side there. And we'll give it some shade, and so there it is. You have an elliptical steering wheel with an elliptical cross section. Okay, our construction options are CATIA V5. As you see, we've got a maximum gap distance there of 0.001 of a millimetre. I hope that you found that useful. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch my video.